What up, what up, what up?
Jad Oueini, right?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So I've known Jad for how many years now? Probably
Couple years, I'd say
almost a decade, baby.
coming up on a decade. Coming up
Yeah.
on a decade. So, what, 2012?
I guess, yeah. So 2 years shy of a decade.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did I meet you? I met you through my cousin Nassim, and you guys went to UIT University.
We went to school together. We were in the same faculty for engineering, and he was my roommate for 4 years.
How was that?
Man, man. Never a dull moment with him. Never a dull moment. He had like this energy, this like
Still does to this
still
day.
does, man. He has that happy, oh yeah, let's do it. Like no matter how bad things were, we always had a smile on our face. So he had that, and I think it carried on to me, and that translates to us going out so much more, one story after another, and you know the stories we've had. So
Right. So you are. What's your background?
so I am Lebanese, born and raised
In
Toronto.
Toronto?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. City kid to the core.
Nice.
So I love the city. There's
Well,
nothing.
whereabouts in Toronto have you been raised? Like, when you
So
growing up?
I was born Mount Sinai Hospital. Currently live in Mississauga. Lived in the heart of downtown Toronto for what 6 years. 6 years. And right now I'm back in Mississauga. And because I still work as a bartender, I still come to Toronto, but my day job is in Burlington.
Okay.
And so the commute's so living in Mississauga just makes sense because it's in the middle.
So just out of curiosity, your parents, when did they come to Canada? And like, were they already here for a while, or?
So they were here for a while before I was raised. I think, but I don't remember when they moved here exactly. But they moved to Boston for schooling. Then schooling, they moved here, and then et cetera, et cetera. So as to when they moved here, I don't remember.
Okay.
So.
And then do you have siblings?
I have a younger brother. Yes, 2 years younger than me.
Nice.
Ryan.
I think I've met Ryan.
You have
times.
when back in our heyday when we used to go out all the time. I'd bring him out with us as well.
So growing up in Toronto, lifestyle-wise, doing what you're doing right now. So what exactly do you do career-wise?
So right now I work for a company called Everts, and what we do is we provide end-to-end video solutions, whether it be hardware or software. And essentially we're a tech company that really tailors to right now mostly broadcasting companies.
Okay.
So what I do specifically is I design an orchestration system that integrates all the surrounding other products and systems
Right.
to a touch screen where an operator can monitor feeds, react, graphic insertion, and a lot of the stuff. So a lot of the big companies that are big content you see on TV, so CNN, HBO, NBA Live, like those are some of the networks that I work with right now. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what we can do. So it's more on the content delivery side, not so much the production itself.
So what does your job entail? Like, what's your day-to-day? Like, what exactly do you do when you go into work that caters towards?
So it's on a project level.
Okay.
So not so much by an individual product or special. So my day entails meetings with the customer, meetings with my dev team, following up on issues on a product. So the best way to look at something, the simplest example is let's take your phone. Your phone, for example. You know how you have an upgrade on it
Right.
that would resolve certain issues. Same deal when you deal with certain products that we deal with, right? So what it comes down to is, do we have the right documentation? Did we find the issue? Can we replicate the issue? And then we go from there. So a lot of the stuff that I do right now is software.
Okay. So you're behind the back-end programming aspect of
More
things?
or less, yes.
And then, did you always know that you're going to end up in that field, or?
Honestly, no. I went to school for energy systems engineering.
Okay.
So you deal with a lot of renewable energies. It's more mechanical per se. When I finished school, I started the job hunt, but to be very honest, for someone like myself, I've been working in the bar industry for so long. you needed a change of pace because you knew it was
the
unhealthy.
bar industry as like being a bartender.
Bartender,
Nice.
busser, bar back, you name it. I pretty much played the role, but it was just I wanted stability and something more consistent. Not coming home at 5 in the morning drunk, or how the hell did I get home? So,
Right.
so I applied to a company called Everts, and from there, everything translated to where I am today. It worked. What worked in my favor is the gentleman that did hire me. I'd see him come to a club that I used to work at, Wildflower, and that was my way of networking. So if I saw somewhere in the engineering wing, I'm like, ooh, I want to talk to him.
And you get in touch with him. So you got in touch with that guy, and then how long was that?
So it would be 2 years, April 8th.
Okay.
I'd be with the company.
Right.
When I first started the company, I was an application technologist for compression equipment. So simplest way to think about compression is, when you have a folder, you have to zip it to make it smaller to send it. Same deal with video, right? That's how companies like save money essentially, because transmitting data or video costs money. So we want to, for this much bandwidth, as much content as you can get. So that's compression, like in the simplest terms. So I did that for about 9 months, and then I found myself at a standstill because the gentleman that did hire me, he had left. He was my, and I'm still good friends with him. But I felt there was no room for me to grow. I felt like the management that I had at the time weren't enabling me to grow. So I did a department switch to projects. So I was a project engineer. And it was just from there on in, it's like I've never seen so much growth in myself because it's fast paced. Because you're dealing with enterprise level customers that need stuff now. And I learned real quick that broadcasting was 24/7. Right. It was that apparent because they need things done on the fly, and I like working under pressure, so things are going well with me right now.
And yeah, I see that you travel a lot too, like with what you're doing.
So when you think about it, like in terms of content on TV, so when it comes to the Netflixes, the Disney Plus, CNN, PBSs, all those major networks, they're hosted in North America and in the States. So a lot of times I will be in Atlanta. A lot of times now I'm like, I fly out today to the UK because they have CNN UK out there. So they have like this whole system that goes around, and it requires me to be on site. I can work remotely, but there's something about having communication between someone right in front of you than over the phone or working remotely. Right. You know,
it's like hands-on.
Yeah, it's more hands-on. Yeah. You have a better perspective of things. So this is why I travel a lot more. So
nice. So going back to your bartending days, how long were you doing that for?
I started bartending pretty much when I started university, so it would be 2000.
So that was near your campus at a random bar, and then.
So how it all started is when me and Nassim first started school, we quickly established ourselves as the loud, charismatic ones, believe it or not. And we met some friends, and it all started with us complaining about OSAP not giving us money. Okay. And then it translated to us being friends, and then it translated to us finding notes from previous years on the midterms coming up, and then we built our networking, but it all came back to us two being the central point. Right. So I met these two guys that worked at this place called Riley's and Junction. Which was the spot in Oshawa at the time. Okay. Started off as a busser there, and then I kept going to St. Louis quite a bit, and then I became a busser there, and then having a loud or very charismatic or obnoxious personality led to like, hey, we want you to be a bartender. Believe it or not. So that translated to me being a bartender at St. Louis, which was right across from the campus. There was like a music hall that I worked there, and then when I was at the music hall, one of the security guards knew a manager at this place called Anco, Mississauga. Right. which I've been to several times, and like summertime Wednesday patio, it was just nuts. And then so I got to there, and then I have this thing where I need to work my way up. I don't want to go into. I like working my way up, so I started off as a busser there, then became a bar back, one of the main bar backs, and then when I expressed that I have bartending experience, they're like, Jack, can you help in? So that translates to me be a bartender, and then we had this manager that came in named Travis. Travis, he was exposed to a lot of higher brands, like international brands, like the Sohos, Nobus, Marquis, and he exposed me to the Toronto scene. So he got me into Soho, and again, same deal. When I was at Soho, I became a bar back, and then bar back, bartender, and then once.
So what's the difference between a bar back and a bartender for those people who don't know?
So a bar back, I put it as he is essentially the mother of the bar. He has to supply the bartender with everything they need so they can do their job. So when it comes to getting ice, stocking the fridges, making sure you have the liquors, the bartender is the server. Okay. You come up, I want a drink, you talk to the bartender. Right? That's essentially the difference position. I think bar back and bartender should be the same position. It's just, again, they just have that one extra responsibility. Right. You know? So from there, once you're in that Toronto, what's it called? Group or
little community.
Thank you, community. It's, you know, this person, he can get you into there. It becomes word of mouth, and your work ethic really determines if you're a fit or not. Right. So a lot of times with bartending, it really comes to it. I believe the skill will come. The knowledge is there. It's, does your attitude and personality meet or match what this venue is trying to portray?
So attitude and personality in what sense though? So like while you're working at Soho.
So okay, perfect example. So when I was at Soho, I met my buddy Elliot. He worked with the Chase Hospitality Group. So they own places like Casamoto. Casamoto Patio is terrific, like one of the best spots in the summer. The Chase, which is in the financial district on the 5th floor, rooftop patio. So the difference in like an attitude is that Soho House, you have more artistic, creative mind people, and you can see that because you have to be a member to get in. Where you look at the Chase, you see more corporate, more celebrity like status, that kind of designation of people tend to them. Now, in my case, I went to school for engineering. I have probably a better time talking to someone that's more corporate and business and project oriented than someone that talks artistic. I don't know what you talk about. There's been times there's art classes and they talk about artists. I'm like, I've never heard of this man.
This is at the Soho?
This is at Soho.
Yeah. I actually didn't know they do things like that, but I have met a couple of people where they have, it's like a creative place where people go to work.
And that's the thing. So one thing, you're not allowed to have a suit and tie. They don't promote suit and ties in the club. You can't wear a suit and tie. And they have a lot of classes, and a lot of times you see a lot of, again, artistic people there. You see them working on a novel, writing a novel. Right. And I'm like, I can't, so going back to my point, I can't comment on that.
So this is like a high-end like coffee shop style vibe, or?
Yeah, during the day, there's different floors to it. You have a restaurant that's on the 2nd floor. 3rd floor is like a private space. Summertime, you have the rooftop patio, and then you just have the main room in this.
Yeah, sorry to derail you off your main point, but yeah, so you said you had to cater yourself to either creative vibes or the corporate.
Yeah, so again, it just goes back to my point saying like your personality is a big factor on the venue you work at. So I am not an artsy to any degree. Nothing. You know what? Like you talk about sculptures, and I'm like, I'm out. But you talking projects and business and that kind of mindset, I'm like,
you
problem
can
solving.
relate,
I can relate. I could talk, you know, and that's why I moved into like the Chase Hospitality Group. And I've been there ever since.
So you're still working there?
I still work there. It's just when you work in the industry for so long, it's hard to get out of it, and so many different reasons. One, it's it's good money. Either way you look at it, it's really good money.
In terms of just work hours or tips and everything?
6 hours, and you make, let's say, $300 for a shift.
Right.
For 6 hours.
That's actually pretty
Unheard
good.
of.
Right.
Unheard of, right? And also, like, for me, I have like personal like goals and dreams. I want to open up my own space, my own bar one day. How and what it looks like to be determined. But so having one foot in the door,
right,
it helps out a lot.
And the fact that you're projecting that into the future, you're kind of keeping an eye out for what you want.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Does it conflict with my day job? Yeah. Is it hard? Yeah. But again, it's just, it comes down to like, you know what you want and you just gotta work.
When it comes to those dreams and visions, nothing is impossible as long as you know that you have the potential of attaining those things. And that's why like you and amongst like our other core group of friends, why we're so blessed, because we're all go-getters in that sense.
Yeah.
We never settle, we never get comfortable. We're always like, okay, what's next? We've got this, what's next? We got this. There's never a comfort zone where it's like, all right, I can kick back and relax. It's always, in a way, like a good stress. Like being stressed in a good way, having anxiety and like that unease in a good way, but that's the city life at the end of the day.
And you're right. What differentiates our core group of friends is that I believe that our work ethic is like something that you don't find in everybody else. So you see a lot of people like, yo, I want to work all summer, I want to make that money, 20 hours a day. I'm like, all right, but then when it comes down to it, it's just talk.
Exactly.
And like you say you want to work, but you don't do anything for it. So
what do you think makes those type of people versus the latter? Do you think it's nature versus nurture, upbringing? Or do you think you're just born into it?
It's just one thing. Like, I can't speak on someone else and why they do that, or why they can't put up. Like
from your life experience, what makes you who you are as a person?
There's two ways I look about this. Like, so to give you perspective.
Yeah.
I've done this, and I'm gonna do this upcoming week. I'm going to fly to the UK. I'm going to land noon Friday, and I'm gonna go to the Chase for a closing bar shift. And when I tell people that, they're like, "You're nuts. How do you do that? You're crazy." And so on one front, I'm like, I get a thrill from that rush to be like, I could do something that
the average motherfucker can't do.
I know that feeling as well. Crazy. Yeah. How you do this? That's how you get that thrill, that rush from it. And on another front is that I have things I have to accomplish. Like I have goals I have to meet. So working that extra two bar shifts a week, I can put away this much money. I can save money to do renovations for my place, for example. That's something I have. That's a project that I'm working on right now for my place. You know, so that it's understanding that I have these goals and objectives I have to meet. So I have to put in those crazy hours, understanding that.
But where does the work ethic itself come from? Like, what was there a catalyst moment where you're like, you know what, I have this understanding that if I put this many...
Again, I'll speak on what catalyzed it, got it going for me.
Yeah, for you.
When I go through rough times, like whether it be girlfriend breakup or anything, any one of those like that are emotionally draining to you. Right. I feed off of other people's energy. So the best way I could do that I work myself to the bone to want to be distracted and to be continuously surrounded by people. And then when you do that so many times, it just becomes a part of who you are. So for me, I went through some things in my life. I was like, I don't want to be around all day moping and crying and so then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna work. Put my head down, work. I got distracted,
and then you realized that the fulfillment and the growth associated with that
and then just became a thing.
That's cool. I can respect that. I feel the same way in many aspects in what you said in terms of putting your head down and just grinding away. But no, you realize when you do that, like you are becoming a better individual, like a stronger version of yourself, but at the same time, like you mentioned, whatever goals and aspirations you have, you become closer to attaining those because of the work that you're putting in. and sticking to saying like I'm gonna do this. It's like proving to yourself like I said I'm gonna do these things and
also,
I'm going
I'll be
to
honest
do
with
it.
you, also when you, it's just, there, a petty side of me is like, oh, I want you to know what you missed out on. If it would be like a girlfriend breaking up with you or someone doing you dirty, like I want you to be like, oh damn, I messed up.
Right.
You know, so there is that. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of pettiness to it.
Okay. Do you have people that like you look up to in a way when it comes to lifestyle choices, or are you just like a
I don't
lone
look.
wolf?
I want to say lone wolf. I want
Alright.
to say I look up to people. I just like to be in a position where if there's something I like, I can get it. You
Right.
know, and that's it. And then also it's like I want to be in a situation where if I'm at a table, I got this.
Right.
And with no worries in the world, right? Without expecting anything in return from anybody. I'll make that clear. I just want to be in that position.
So what I get from this is like just as I'm projecting myself in the situation too is like some leaders they have, for example, father figures.
Yeah.
Like is your
Yeah, well,
pops?
my dad is probably like my biggest role model.
So there you go, right? When it comes to taking care of people and having no cares and stuff like that, and being that stoic type of grounded person, usually people have strong father figures.
You asked me what was the question? You asked me what drives you to do work or
right.
stuff like
That
that.
driving
So in
factor.
one sense, I look at it as like I want to be that guy that I can get whatever I want, but at the same time, again, I want to be that stoic, heroic figure amongst people.
Right.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah, and then, but it's the same. Is your father someone who influences you in the decisions you make on a day-to-day basis, like family-wise?
Yeah. My father is, I think, is probably half the man he is.
Okay.
And the way he conducts himself, the way he articulates, the way just speaking to people on its own, and I've been in instances with him where he'd be talking, and I've never seen a group of people so
Engaged
and focused. Like that is respect.
Right.
You know, and when I speak, I want that kind of level of respect, right?
Right.
I'm not just, I demand it, I work for it, but to have that, it says a lot about the person that is speaking. My father, things he's done, and like he's, again, I want to be half the man he is if I could ever be him. And he's the epitome of the man I want to be.
Nice. So speaking of being a bartender, do you have any crazy stories?
Damn! Oh,
that you'd like to share, obviously, nothing too.
Man, it's just like being a bartender. It's like
because it's a wild lifestyle, right?
It's a wild lifestyle.
Just in terms of the environment, right? Like when people are.
So when I say bartending, there's always different bartenders. There's like your club bartenders that was like, yo, head down, pump it, and let's get those tips, right? There's cocktail bartenders that they enjoy their craft. You know, they made this 7-ingredient cocktail that tastes amazing.
So knowing you, I know you've dabbled in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I've pretty much put my foot in every style of bartending you could think of. I'm not gonna say cocktail as much because I've been exposed to it, but it was never my front. Man, stories. I think one of the funniest stories I have was I was working at the Chase, and I had a gentleman named Chris. Chris was a rep for Southern Glazers. Southern Glazers is a distributor of premium liquor. And he came in one day, and he had a big group of people, and I'm seeing like espresso martinis, some no cream, some creamy, double like tequila shaken knee, and then I'm looking at these, I'm like, this same damn table, I'm gonna go see what's going on here, and they're they're celebrating. I'm like, I want to know why they're celebrating. So as he's leaving, that. He comes up to me. I was like, yo, what's going on today, man? Like, I've known him from over the years. And I'm like, what's going on? I was like, and he comes up to me. It's Cash from the weekend's birthday.
Okay.
Text me if so I can send you an address and I'll get you in. I'm like, all right, whatever. It was the end of a long week. I texted him, nothing. I'm like, all right, whatever. So bars closed. I'm just gonna go home. This is when I lived on King of Spadina.
Okay.
So walking through the Chase in the summertime was like most like calm and interesting walk ever. Because at one time it was decompressing, but at the same time entertaining because I'd see someone pass out on the floor. I'm like, ooh, you off to a bad start to your night. So I'm leaving. I get a call from Jordan and Leslie. Jordan and Leslie was the beverage director at the time, and from Chris. And like, did you leave? Did you leave? Did you leave? I'm like, well, what's going on? And they're like, we forgot our Don Julio 1942, 6 bottles of it upstairs. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I need you to get it and bring it to me. I'm like, all right, sure. So I go backstairs, I get them, and like Chris, okay, I'm calling you an Uber. Okay, so I get in an Uber. I have no idea where I'm going, mind you. Not the slightest clue. And I'm driving, I'm like more east end now. There's like a warehouse out there.
Okay.
And in this warehouse, I see a massive line. Now, there's 2 types of lines. There's the general admission, and then there's VIP.
Right.
So I get out holding 6 bottles of tequila. And I forgot her name. She works for Chris. She's like, "Are you Jad?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my God, you saved us!" What, like, oh, you don't understand. You really saved us. I'm like, I don't know what I've done yet.
Right.
I have no idea. So I'm walking through security. I was like, "Hey," he's like, "No, he's with us. He's saving us." And I'm like, so I walk through, and there's this door. It's like, again, it looked like it's like a carpet. Like it's this VIP entrance. I look straight ahead, and there's like this black curtain. And I'm like, what the fuck's behind the black curtain? And then there's another room. So I'm holding 6 boxes. Make a left into this like dressing room area where there's like 7 strippers.
What the fuck?
And weed everywhere. And I look at myself like, I made it in life. I made it to the promised land.
Right.
And then I dropped the tequila, and then cash comes in. I'm like, okay, damn it, it wasn't for me.
All right.
And the lady, she gives me a bottle of tequila, like, this is for you, for all your...
Oh no, she gave you an entire bottle of tequila.
She gave me, I'm like, what the hell am I like? I'm doing a whole bottle of tequila. I'm just an emergency booze boy, what it looks like.
All right.
So now we're going to go walk towards that curtain. So what the hell's behind that?
Right.
I open this curtain and I see this massive warehouse full of people. And then like on one side you have like the XO crew with like VIP with a bunch of girls, whatever.
Right.
And then when the curtain opened, everyone just looked at me. I'm like, I ain't no one special.
You're just holding
I
one
ain't
bottle of
famous.
tequila.
I'm just holding a bottle of tequila. And I started walking through the crowd, and like I see some of like my old like friends and the girls I hollered at earlier, and they come up. Oh, Jad, what are you doing? I'm like, be gone, peasant. Be gone. This is my time.
All right.
You know, embracing
I'm in the limelight.
Yeah, I'm in the limelight. Everyone's like, I'm like, I'm taking snaps and all this. Like, Joe, where the hell are you? And I'm telling people, I don't know where I am.
Right.
I don't know. And I didn't even think twice to look at like Google Maps or my location. So Chris comes up to me, shows me mad love, this, that, and he's like, and he takes me to an area of the stage, or this area of the warehouse, where he's like, Jad, just stay here. And everyone's gonna come up here eventually. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, I'm standing here, and I'm showing a couple people.
Everyone as in who? Like.
I went by myself.
Okay.
But then like some people that I knew, like I was like, I know you guys. I need friends or something.
Okay.
To figure out what the fuck's going on.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I knew it was a birthday. Whose birthday? I don't know who Cash is. Nor do I care.
Right.
I have a bottle of tequila and I'm not drinking it by myself. So I like give shots, and then Chris comes up and he's like, "Man, thank you so much." Gives me a bottle of Moet. Like, this is for you.
So you have 2 bottles now.
So now I have two
bottles in the collection.
And in front of me, there's like the stage with stripper poles. I'm like, I see why the strippers are here.
Right.
They're not here for me. And then I see the strippers come out. Cash is like this big like show with sparklers, like really limelight on him. Everyone comes this way. So the champagne that I got, I gave it away to 2 girls. Like, here, have it. And Chris comes up like, what are you doing? I'm like, what? He's like, that was for you. I'm like, dog, I have a bottle of tequila and champagne. Like, I'm not drinking all this. So it comes out, and he drops a Remy VSOP right in my hand. He's like, I dare you to give that to somebody else. I'm like, say less. I'm not going to remember tonight.
So bottle number 3 acquired.
But, yeah. And I missed a 15 minutes.
What the fuck?
So so everyone comes here, and then there's a little platform right behind me. So I step up, and like music, I think like Travis Scott was there, Belly, 88 Glam, and then I'm like filming all this and still trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing here. And I look to my right, and I see The Weeknd.
Right.
He's literally right beside me, wearing a hospital mask.
What the fuck?
I have a video of this.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, is that The Weeknd?
Right.
And I never had no hate for the guy. I liked his music, but then his music just went whiny for me. And I look at him, I'm like, damn, this guy's the biggest bum I've ever met.
In what sense?
Man, it was like he was wearing a hospital mask to cover his like jaw-clenching mouth with all the drugs he did.
Yeah. Well, I feel like when you reach that level of status,
it comes with it.
In that environment, that's what comes with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? And like, so then like, strippers everywhere, fake money being thrown. I'm drinking. Long story, I'm like, I drank quite a bit, and I woke up home, and then when you post certain things on social media, the next day everyone's like, what the hell did you do? And I'm just like, I don't know. I was just the emergency booze boy.
Yeah, there's a couple of years where you kept popping up in random situations. Like, remember you were being interviewed at, what was it, Onyx, the barber shop?
Oh, yeah, man.
So there's like this scenario, then like maybe 2-3 weeks later, we see you on CP24. We're like, what's going on with Jad?
I have this fucking odd, like, peculiar lifestyle. Like, it just, stupid things happen to me, and it's just very entertaining for people.
Yeah.
So I think it was it's 2016. Trump had just won the election. He's going to be the president of the United States.
Right.
My dumbass was hungover from the night before, and I was getting a haircut.
Yeah.
And some lady comes up to me, and she's like, do you mind if we do an interview with you?
So this was at a barbershop out of all places. The
I
Onyx,
had a barbershop. Onyx Barbershop.
Downstairs?
Downstairs on Yonge Street, right after...
It was south of like Dundas Square, yeah.
Yeah, south of Dundas Square. She comes up to me, she's like, what's your background? I'm like, I'm Lebanese, like Arab. I'm like, are you Muslim? She's like, yeah. She's like, perfect. I'm like,
are you Muslim? Perfect.
Why? So that she asked me questions, and I'm like, she's like, do you feel concerned or threatened about Trump? I'm like, and I told her, I don't even remember my response, but I tried to say something like very stoic and heroic, or I don't know. I'm like, honestly, it doesn't matter to me, but having someone in his position will bring to light all the evils in the world, whether it be the stereotypes, the religions, the people who talk a certain way. It'll bring it to light. And I looked hungover as hell. And I had the interview, and then I'm like, there's no way in hell they're going to broadcast this. 2 days later, you see me on fucking CP24, concerned Muslim. I was like, I never said I was concerned.
Yeah. Concerned Muslim.
Yeah, concerned era, whatever. I'm like, I ain't concerned for shit. And I'm just getting roasted for it.
Right.
It's just like I always end up in these funny situations that like people.
It would be funny to add the fucking video link to that CP24 clip. I'm sure it's somewhere.
It's somewhere. It's somewhere.
Concerned Muslim.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? And like another, like every now and then we do. I've worked a lot of like after parties. So one year I went to OVO. I had a night off, which was absurd and something new for me. So I went to OVO, and then I get a call. I was working at Casamolo at the time in the summer, and I get a call, and I'm like, you go to these concerts, you have a little wave, feeling nice and tipsy. We need you to work. I'm like, okay, when? Tomorrow? Like, no, midnight tonight. I'm like, what the hell?
This is while you're at OVO.
This is while I'm at OVO. I'm like, what the hell do we have going on at midnight that I need to come feeling like this? He's like, I am a liability. We want you to work. Turned out it was going to be the OVO after party.
Did they tell you that
No.
at the time? No.
They're like, you must be there. I'm like, fine, sure. So it's in Barmoto, it's like the private dining in Casamoto, and then next thing you know, you have Popcorn there, French Montana, Drake, Rihanna, all these celebrities. And again, it's confidential. I can't post anything on it, but they can.
Right.
These guys, these fuckers partied till 8 in the morning, and I had a shift at 10 a.m. the next day.
Jeez.
So I'm slump faced, like drooped eyed, like, can you guys leave so I can leave? So, Popcorn, I can't find the video anymore. He was doing like a video with Drake.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in the background.
Yeah, you see my slumped ass in the background, just miserable. And then from that, like again, people saw it and they just roasted it for me. And, then, and like I always end up in these odd situations, and people think I have like this lifestyle. I'm like, no, it's just I'm there.
It's actually pretty crazy though. But that's just the type of energy and vibe you bring, like in general. Like you're very loving, welcoming, and like positive, right? So that's probably why you end up in these situations in terms of getting to know all of these unique and diverse people that put you in these situations.
Yeah, man. It's like I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, he's always in a bad mood complaining, you know? And then I'm the type of character, I'll show you love and all my efforts, but you get so many strikes that I back off it. So it really...
Right. No, I understand that completely. So right now, in terms of your life and goals and aspirations, what do you have projected for you in the future? Like,
I've got right now. So I just bought property. I'm putting a lot of my focus on that. I want to see if I could take that investment and bloom it to something more where I don't have to work as much as I do right now. Because even though I can do it right now, it's not sustainable. It's not healthy.
right.
And then when I say healthy, I mean that across the board, whether it be physically, mentally, socially. And when I socially, like I know over the years I've disconnected from a lot of my friends because
I've just been in a hustle.
I've just been in a hustle mode.
Right.
And you know who your true friends are when, even though you're not there at every function, you're there every now and then, they still show you the same love that as if you were there every time. So, and that's when I start thinking about it, there is nights where like I'd have a night off and I'm just like, I don't know who to text, man. And it's like but I'm also too tired to do anything.
Right. I know that feeling too, to be honest. Yeah.
So you get in these mixed emotions. So so for like me, I'm at a point in my life where I'm gonna keep working the way I am, but I want to reach a point where
you have more of a balance.
And I thought I was gonna work like this till the day I dropped, right? But I was like, it's not healthy, and I want to be more engaging. And stuff
I can definitely see you as one of the brothers that, like, once we're older, you'll have a lot of things established in terms of not having to worry about financial situations.
It's not even about financial situations.
I mean, the way having that freedom of like.
It's good to have like the way I see it, and I tell these people I tell everyone that I know that when it comes to money,
right,
you're always gonna have financial pressure. Always, no matter who you are in the world, there's always a bill to be paid. There's always something.
Right.
The best you can do is understand that and work off it, and then I want to work my ass off so that if I make it to the top, wherever the top is or whatever that, like, yo, everyone coming up with it, you know, and I portray that with everything I do. So like if there's a project that I can incorporate everyone in, I'm like, guys, hey, we got some here. What do you think? Go from there. So that's my mentality, and I'm slowly working towards that, man.
That's dope. But yeah, brother, I appreciate you for coming on here. You're one of the, like I said, core members of the familia.
Yeah, man.
And we're all, I guess, in a way, like leaders and strong men in that sense, where we motivate and inspire other people, even when we're not trying to.
Yeah, and like with the core that we have, and you look at our core friends, each one of us has a skill set or personality that's very different from one another, but very contributing.
Right. It's like a diverse community of and that's how it should be.
Yeah. Like we don't knock anyone's hustle, but at the same time, we call you out on your shit.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
know. I've been called out.
Yeah.
You know, we've all been called out to a certain degree.
But at the same time, when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's like that's how you know who your genuine friends are. Like if we all pretend smiles and stuff when you know someone's being a fucking dick or whatever, you're not gonna go far with those people.
I know.
It's like even for example, like sometimes I'll bump into some like even I'm not tight with them. They'll have something in their teeth or something in their nose. I'll be like, yo, take that. You have boogers in your nose, and they'll be like, oh shit, like nobody would have mentioned that. I'm like, they're not your true friends. I'm looking out for you. I don't care what you think if I tell, but I'm like, if you were my good friend and I had something in my teeth or my nose and I'm walking around interacting with them and you didn't tell me that I had something like that going on, it's like how can I trust you in that sense? So that's like on a smaller scale, but on a larger scale when it comes to calling people out on their shit in terms of not from a perspective of like demeaning or throwing them under but more of like, yo, you're better than this. Like, we've grown together, we've had all these experiences, and then that the love and the appreciation for those friends just grows even exponentially.
If like amongst our crew, my level of conversation is very minimal with a lot of the guys, but it's efficient and you know what, it's.
Well, but as we're growing older too, it's the same thing. People are becoming a little bit more disconnected. But like you mentioned before, like we sit down, we pick up from where we left off, because we understand that everybody is in grind mode. But that's the city life for you.
Shabby, man. This guy, even though I haven't talked to him in weeks, if I post something, I know he might trick me for something.
Right.
You know, it's just I know he's gonna be there one way or another. So yeah, it's just I'm in a time in my life where I'm looking to be balanced. Across the board, and it's hard to get balance when you go at 100 miles an hour 24/7.
Right, you're used to that pace.
Yeah, so I'm trying to adjust. Like again, going from flying, coming into the country, going straight to a closing bar shift, that's not healthy, and I know this, but I set myself up for that.
Right.
So
I don't know. You seem to enjoy it, to be honest.
Yeah. Like when people call me crazy in that front, I'm like, I just got a second win.
Yeah, you're one of the amigos that does like 5 different jobs at once.
Yeah,
it's like I worked 200 hours this week. It's like what?
Did you sleep? I mean, does a nap count?
Well, no, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you as a person. I love you very much as a brother.
It's all love, bro. You know how it is. My dude.